our keynotes today with a focus on sustainability. Radhika is going to, she's from Sustainability Kiosk and also a senior advisor for World Sustainable Hospitality Alliance. She's going to show us how waste reduction and recycling can shift from operational costs to commercial advantage, boosting margins, strengthening brand storytelling, and creating real competitive edge through smarter sales, marketing, revenue, and distribution strategies. So, Radhika, over to you.
So I'm Radhika, and as the introduction said, founder of Sustainability Kiosk and the Alliance. So we'll talk more about it as we go through. So I've been doing HSMAI for many years in different roles, but the last 2 years in sustainability. And every time we stand here and ask, it's always about how does it help me with the end of the day, my rate at the hotel. It's always, if I did some things on sustainability, would it add, can I increase my ADR? Is that still the question in the room? Yes? Anyone else has a different question? No? Always, right? So which is why this year we are speaking much more about your bin to bottom line, okay? And also the overall halo effects it has when you actually focus on sustainability at the hotel, taking one thing at a time, which is the bin. So HOST is the Operations Sustainability Toolkit for hotels that we've built, and one chapter of it is waste. So we're just going to go through one element of it today to give you an idea of what it is. Now, sustainability. What is it? What is sustainability to someone in the room here? For me, this underlines everything that I work on. We don't inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children. And each time I work on it, I mean, I'm a mother, I have 2 kids, I obviously think of what's it for future generations. If you don't take a responsibility for today, for the emissions that we are producing, then how do we expect to have a better planet? And this is an interesting one. What if the earth existed for 24 hours? Can anyone guess? When did humans actually arrive? Exactly, just before midnight. So actually, it's much bigger. It's been there for so many years, and the first sign of life, dinosaurs came in probably 5 minutes before, and then humans. So if you look at the transition in terms of formation of Earth, how it's gone through, we are here in this age, 2025, and all the fossil fuels, all that we are seeing just didn't happen. It's taken years and years of the transition that's happened that we are witnessing what we are today. But what's happening is our consumption is outpacing the supply. So where we are now, we are accelerating our consumption, we are depleting resources, the planetary boundaries around us, we are depleting them faster every year, and there's something called Earth Overshoot Day. Does anyone know about it? It's basically, if we estimate how many, if all of UAE consumed how much we are supposed to consume, we've gone past our consumption in March. That's basically the overshoot day. So if you look at it, and that's where the problem is, demand. In sustainability, we don't like demand. Whereas everywhere else, demand is wonderful. So given this is the situation, given where we are at the minute, it's all about how do we maximize our opportunities for efficiency, right? Let's do what we can. And let's do it because there's a business imperative, there's an operational imperative, and it works. It works for the share price. So let's do it. Okay, everybody here loves benchmarks? Yeah. You like numbers? You all know your RGI, MPI, API really well. But did you know sustainability also has a benchmark? Anyone, any hands up if you know sustainability has a benchmark? No, right? It does. So let's talk more about it. When you go back to the hotels, ask about it. It's called Carbon Emissions Benchmarking, Cornell Hotel Sustainability Benchmark. Cornell does it. And basically what it shows is we don't have the full service data, we have limited data, but there is data. And the more we actually use the data and work with it, what gets measured gets done. Everybody knows it, okay? So let's use the data. Data exists, let's start using more of it. And as you see in UAE, it's working, okay, I can do this. In UAE, where we are at, we are better off with some of the, I mean, I can't even say better off, but you can really see our carbon emissions because of all the lovely HVAC units that we have, the air conditioning, cooling. We do consume a lot. We do have high carbon footprint. So hotels in Middle East should be aware of where we are going towards. So that's brilliant, but is there a collaborative body? We know sustainability is important. We've seen, we know we can all take action, but how is hospitality leading it? Each brand has their own sustainability story, but there's also a collaborative body, and which is the World Sustainable Hospitality Alliance. So the World Sustainable Hospitality Alliance is a combination of all of the brands. Oh, it was started 30 years ago when, as an NGO, registered in England and Wales. It's a charity. It was started 30 years ago. It was initially called International Tourism Partnership. And over the 30 years of legacy, it's rebranded again and again, and we represent them here in UAE. And what's the objective of the alliance? It's convening the industry for collaboration. Because all of us know it requires all of us, one, to understand. Then once we understand, we kind of know how do we operate within our hotels, outside our hotels, so we can measure, manage, and mitigate the emissions that come with it, right? So all of the brands are members of the alliance, and through the collective power across the value chain, they're able to deliver the impact, measure how much we need to reduce by, have science-based targets, actually get towards it. So this is the alliance. And their mission is on net positive hospitality. Okay, it's a big word. I'm throwing some words out there. So any questions? Can anyone take a guess? What could be what does net positive hospitality mean? Correct? Decrease it? Yep, perfect. So positive impact, decrease your emissions, decrease the harm you're doing to the world. Correct?
No impact.
No impact. No impact.
Yeah.
Net. Okay, that's net zero. Okay. Anything else? Any other definitions of what could net positive be?
Is this like the regenerative hospitality?
Correct. So it's kind of putting all of these together. I think we were all there in various pieces. It's giving back more than we take. Simple ways. So it's how do we give back to people, what hospitality is all about, to planet, which we're going to speak more of and which we can all play a part of, to the place we are in. Hospitality should be a cornerboard in terms of how does tourism, how does hospitality drive revenue to the economy that it's based in, right? So how do we drive economy, which is the planet, people, place, prosperity? And all of that is regenerative hospitality, and what the alliance calls it is the net positive. So you're doing more good than harm, okay, through all of our actions that hotels are based in. So with that, like I said, when you look at the environmental side, hospitality and sustainability, we've all probably got metrics around energy, water, food and sustainability, carbon, right? Agreed? Correct? So all of us are on board. Let's go deeper into waste for today. And what's the business case when it comes to waste? Okay?
Ask you one question before.
Yeah, no, sure.
So you mentioned the benchmark that is being done on carbon emission. As an industry, are we looking also at ESG measurements, which they do in other industries? Because it's not only about the carbon emission. Right?
Correct.
The whole ESG measurement. Is there any kind of tool or platform or something that's being developed for the hospitality industry to look at that overall picture?
So that's reporting.
Yes.
So we do have CSRD, our carbon disclosure reporting. If you speak to your PR teams or communication team, sustainability is still an evolving, as all of you know, in hospitality. Some hotel brands have it really established teams. Some hotel brands still are in the discovery phase of reporting. But certainly, if you actually go and ask your teams, you would be able to see how do they do reporting.
How does the consumer know?
Consumer only experiences it when they look at the green certification that a hotel has. At the minute, that's your only form of measurement, because you put that into your RFPs, you put that across to all of your, how do you talk to customers? So OTAs, And we'll come to that slide too, but it's very, at the minute, quite narrow, I would say. Like, it's got expansion. You could actually use sustainability for many, many more things, and it's quite narrow. Okay, waste. Oof, we've all just had lunch. How much waste did we produce? All of you. How many of you swapped like 3 plates for 1 lunch? 2 plates? 1? Okay, by the end of the day, you probably have 6 plates going. From 1 person, 300 people, multiply that. You guys are good at math. So that's the amount, exactly, there. That's the amount of waste, and that's practically all our actions contributing to it. So as an end result, we do have waste, and the global amount of waste is increasing. It can be up to Mount Everest, much bigger, and I'm sure you've all seen videos of it. You don't need me to tell you again that they exist, and you know the problem. And we in UAE have a problem too. Because lovely, we love tourism, we love all of the sales and marketing guys are bringing in, and the rates are really good, but guys, let's take responsibility for what's happening in the region, and that's that. And SDGs. Everyone knows SDG? Okay, SDG is basically Sustainable Development Goals. So UN has published certain Sustainable Development Goals, and there are 17 of them. And basically, the question that you get to ask is, can hospitality continue to grow without actually sorting out our waste? Really? Come on. So I think that's the question. When you leave this room, I want you to go back and look at your hotel and see, take it as a pilot project. Call us, we'll come and do an audit for you. Waste audit, do that, but do that to take responsibility as a hotelier. What can I do to ensure that my property, my brand is up to date in terms of giving back to the planet? So one of the processes is when you think of waste or when you think of any sustainable design, there's a process called circular and linear. Does everyone know of this concept? So linear process, typically what happens to food waste? You extract all of the food, you get all of these, you consume, you dispose of. Class, that's the end of the chain. Whereas in a linear model, ideally, the food that we eat from today should go into composting. And then it becomes soil. And the soil is useful for growing of plants again. So it's a circular thinking of design. So you've got to get away from, use and throw to how do you design things in a circular motion. So if there was one key takeaway I would say from today is to get your thinking in terms of circularity in designing. Circularity, even in communication, I think marketing has a huge role to play when you communicate about your circularity. How are you ensuring that there's circularity of resources around? So that's the key concept when it comes to hospitality and waste. One key concept is circular and linear. And how do we measure waste? Waste reduction in one. What's the other way? How much waste you're diverting. Okay? Of the total waste, how much waste you divert.
Is there any sanction or that kind of things from UN, like each hotel should be on?
There is, and the World Sustainable Hospitality Alliance has actually published waste management methodology. So there actually exist tables, and they actually exist in terms of how much is the benchmark we expect in a city center hotel versus an urban resort. There exist. Correct. So I think the more we do, let's do an activity because that will get us. How many categories of waste do you think exist? Okay, you know the paper, pen. Just take a number. Take a number. 100, okay, 10. Okay, good. We have 100 to 10, so that means they do exist. Okay, we'll come to that. What do you think typically a hotel produces, say, 1 ton of waste a day? How much do you think are we diverting? 10% we are diverting, okay, fair enough. And do you think we can make money from it? Is there an income potential from it? Yes? How much do you think? Give me an AED number or a dollar number, but give me a number. How much do you think we can make per month? What's that? $10 per room per day, good number, yes. $10 per room per day is really good, right? Actually, if you think of it in terms of your ADR. Someone asked, does it actually improve my ADR? There you go. It's actually that number. And it works. It does. Well done. And look, there are so many concepts in sustainability. I haven't even started on scope 1, 2, and 3. Do we know there is something called a scope? Correct? There's so much more. And here I'm here to just inspire you and leave you so you go back and do your research. But all I can tell you is that the $10, 10 dirhams per day, it works. And to do that, we have actually a case study that I'll take you through it. This is amount of, when we just spoke about how many categories of waste can we have, we've just listed few here. I've got 23 categories here that you can see. It's basically getting as granular as you can in terms of circularity. Can I take all the cardboard out and give it to the team? As the procurement comes in, can I actually recycle all of it? And the more you do all of these things in their respective circular design, the better it is for how much revenue, how much income you can make. And the better it is for your storytelling of the property. I have a new property coming up. Can I use some of the old designs? Can I take some of them over? So and this is the case study. Can I play the case study?
Hi, I'm James from Anantara, Dubai on the Palm. So Anantara, we've been working a lot on sustainability. So we're working with Sustainability Kiosk to drive the culture in the hotel of sustainable culture. And we've seen some great results. I think 18 months ago, we were only generating 5% of our waste was being recycled. The highest we've achieved so far is 70% of our waste being recycled. And that's really down to the culture in the team, working with Radhika and her team to really bring the best practices into the resort. Sustainability has been our KPI for many a year now. Minor hotels have seen throughout, so a lot of our destinations are remote destinations where you need to be sustainable because it has a really economic effect if you're not. And now we're seeing it more in the city properties where we see all those opportunities we've learned from the Maldives and in some of our more remote locations, and we're rolling those out here in the city locations, and it's working out very well.
There you go. So it does lead to, and I think we've proven it in Dubai with minor hotels. Thank you for the support. And how do you do that? You start with an audit. So once you understand that the notion of how does circularity work, how do the different players in the ecosystem, you start with an audit. Okay? And if you don't know where to look up solutions, we obviously have an online platform of vetted solutions. You can go online and see it. It's the marketplace where all solutions exist. All I'm saying is, look, you are the sales, marketing, revenue people in the room, okay? And what's happening is the demand for sustainability, customers' perception of sustainability is changing. It's no more it starts all the way from discover, plan, book, stay. And where does it start? Before even someone's actually discovery has started, people actually look at how are you optimized on booking.com, HRS, hotel beds, do you have enough sustainability filters? And is your story consistent in terms of what are you saying at the hotel versus what's put online? It's been observed. They're geeks like me, and I'm sure they're passionists like you, they're believers who are actually looking at it. And it really depends on the travelers. Corporate travelers, for sure, because they want to know what's it before they even give you the RFP, and even leisure travelers. And if not, kids are asking you. I have my kids asking all the time, like, how do they do this? How do they do that? So I think the new generation is also asking more about what is it. The next one, AI. I think you've heard 2 days too much on AI, and you know how AI is rewriting the rules. And at the minute, we are going more into the generative engine optimization, where green practices at a hotel are actually influencing how you show up. So it's very important that you have the story. We just gave you waste as an example, but use that. Anantara the Palm used waste as a story to talk about how do they do, because they are an urban resort. So they have space, they have the capacity to recycle and to use that as a story, right? And then you do have much more when you talk about your smart hotels, the long-term value. How are you capturing the long-term value for guests staying with you if you don't have anchoring points for your hotel? Let sustainability be one of the anchoring point that you can talk about it when it comes to. And then the review. I think this is one of the key things. You have people coming and staying, but when they leave, the review reality is when people notice that sustainability isn't working, they give feedback. And I think all our, I don't know, Medallia, every score that you use at the minute has at least one question on sustainability. Has anyone seen any feedback on sustainability? Not really?
We start seeing it within the RFPs, as you say, there is a sustainability part because the companies are requesting that.
As a review, you haven't seen. But there is the review section, and I know certainly for minor hotels, there is a very important question in terms of, have you noticed? Have you seen? What improvements do you like? And certainly hotels which actually are heavy on reporting, which actually have stakeholder commitments when it comes to science-based targets, are watching it. And it's important to keep that in mind because people leave with a bad taste when you don't do things correctly. So that's my 15 minutes, I think. Oh God, I've gone over. But one thing, any questions? Any one thing that you would do different when you go back to the hotel?
Asking what are we doing?
Asking what are we doing? That's a very important thing, yes.
Is there a platform with this, like, for example, for the electricity things, for the carbon
Emissions.
those kind of things, like to see from the hotel side, like how many percentage we did, or
Do you work in a hotel? Which hotel do you work?
I'm working in the Radisson Hotel, we're
Okay.
in the area office. It's just
There is.
curiosity.
Go ask your team. There is,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
And I can connect you with the team which does it in Radisson. But I'm saying it exists. Every brand operationally, if your team is not talking about it, get yourself interested because there is a story there. And what we're doing is we're not mining the story in your marketing. You're not using this story in your search optimization, in what you're telling your corporate guest, in what you're telling your leisure guest. Because like every hotel has actually good engines that work. Anything else? Any feedback?
Thank you, Radhika.
Okay, no time.
I'm gonna